The number one investment I've made in my life for making health my hobby and getting it more consistent has not been a nice car, has not been the most fancy clothes, has not been the most unbelievable vacation. It has been my house, my healing home. To make health your hobby, I think one of the best investments that you can make, that I've made personally, in my opinion, is turn your home into a healing home. If your health is always something that you have to do and something that you don't want to do, you don't win long term. Your ability to create the life you actually want, your ability to paint a picture of a life that is creative, of desire, of passion, colorful, of freedom, of expression, of zest, gets muddied. Because when we live life based on what we have to do instead of what we want to do, we end up losing that vigor for life. We lose that vibration. We lose that creativity, that waking up in the morning and saying, I think I can create this. Most of us wake up in the morning just trying to get through the day. I want you to make health just like what I want you to make your career. We get stuck in careers we don't want, but the almighty dollar, we need to make money. So we choose jobs, we work in environments that we can get, that can help pay our bills, but don't necessarily set our souls on fire with what we do and what we're passionate. Can we be so lucky to do both? And I'm using the career as a metaphor because all of us can relate to this. When we're younger, we look at our children or our niece and nephew, we say, man, figure out what you want to do now because it matters for the next 30 or 40 years. It really matters that you wake up and you have a passion for what you do and how you serve. And it's the same thing with health. It's the same energy here. And I want to make that same prayer, that same affirmation for all of us who are new to natural medicine, just coming into natural medicine, who are young, who are just waking up to the poison in our air, food, and water, and saying, get passionate about health now. Make it the hobby now. How can we make health our hobby? How can we get desirable about reading that book, of watching that podcast, of talking to friends who are interested, on pushing away poisonous restaurants and foods and life choices because it doesn't really serve what we're passionate, our hobby, our love, our creation of our best life. We'll spend up all our money on makeup and beautiful clothes. And I'll tell you, beautiful clothes don't make a person look beautiful. A beautiful body makes clothes look beautiful. Okay? So how do we make this hobby? That's today's training. That's what we're going to go over. Today is about continuing to reinvent that perception of truth, to find passion, let go of fear, and realize that's what we do everywhere in life. We don't wake up. Most of us don't want to wake up like my dad. He wanted me to play baseball because he was a big baseball player. I wasn't in love with baseball. I liked football. My dad said, well, Dane, you don't got the frame for football. You're tall, you're skinny, you don't got the frame. Was he right? Yes, but it still was my passion to try football or basketball. Dang, you don't have the height. You're not 6'6". You're not going to be able to do this to the level that you think you're going to be able to do. You don't have the speed, the ability to dunk, all these things. But it was still my passion. But I'm glad I still didn't choose the baseball because I wasn't happy doing it. Does that make sense? Even if it's not our best, we know that we can make health our passion because when you choose to make health your hobby, everything gets better. Your fitness career, right? Your hair, skin, nails, energy, right? Your ability to sleep, your anxiety, all of it gets better. What about your ability to be specific in dating? So when we make this our hobby, when you go on a date, right? Back when I was single, I could think of this. I wasn't sure what I brought to the table when I was single. How many of you guys can feel that? I didn't know why would someone want to date me? Is it because a lot of men, oh, it's because I've got muscles, it's because I'm tall, it's because I got money, because I drive a certain car, right? That's what society tells us. Girls, oh, it's because I look a certain way, oh, because I can cook, or I lived in a certain area, or whatever it is, right? Well, when you make health your hobby and you're passionate about it, you bring that to the dinner table. You bring that to the date. What happens is, and this is great for men, you become less interested in just how a person looks, men or women. We become less interested. Yes, someone could be beautiful, but do they share my values? Do they share my hobbies? If you're a surfer, right? If you're a boater, if you're a traveler, an adventurer, you want your partner to be like that. Now you have a reason why both of you matter to each other. Who in life, who here listening right now wants a partner where health is a passion, health is a hobby, health is something they want to talk about. They want to go out and talk about carnivore, vegan, what fasting. They want to talk about biohacking, energy. They want to talk about how to stay lean naturally without having to go run 10 miles a week. Or maybe you do, or maybe you want to be talking about being a runner, marathon runner. Who here wants a partner like that? Well, you have to be what you want in your partner. I can use everything we want in life and talk about how you make health a hobby, and it will make you more confident, more empowered, more successful, right? More willing to give. You have more to offer. If I sat at a table with the most famous people in the world, I would still feel like I have something great to offer. Oh, they're richer, they're better looking, they're more cool, they got more fame, they got more people. I'm not interested. They don't want to talk to me. Hey, who here? I'm not even interested in you unless you're interested in health. Who here is interested in health? Who's here and interested in making their health better? And I guarantee conversation starts changing. Now that they forget about all that power and all that stuff, it's like, hey, because all of us are human, all of us got a timer on our life, and all of us want to wake up feeling our best, living our optimal life. And you can't do that if health isn't a hobby, period. Can't do it. You are muddying down your success in your life. Forget you're even in an IBD program, Shield. Imagine that you're in a longevity program. Imagine you're in a fitness program. Imagine you're in Find My Husband, Find My Wife program. Imagine in your I want to make $1 million a year program. Everything we do, making health your hobby, helps every single one get better. People want to work with people. People want to pay people who are already healthy, already happy, already energetic, not relying on Red Bulls and coffee for the rest of life, already have discipline. People want to hire people who have a grasp on alcohol, a grasp on drugs and smoking. And people also want to hire people who are disciplined. People want to date people who have dreams. When you make health your hobby, what happens to your belief system about making your life happen? Is 50 old when you're healthy? Nah, that's just something dumb that young people think. Is 60 old? Is 70? Right? Let's go. We can eliminate all these limiting beliefs when we make health our hobby. Because you're not old. Think about this. This also helped me. One thing that got me really passionate about health and wellness is I started here, especially when you turn 30, right in your 20s, right? For all my young people, oh my God, like, it's so fun to turn 18. It's so fun to turn 21. It's pretty fun to turn 25. Not as fun to turn 30. Not as fun to turn 40 and so forth, right? Well, I started realizing, wait, what if health was like a power meter, right? Most of us think or life, right? Lifespan was a power meter. And we see it as like, oh, when I'm 30, if I live to 100, I've lived 30% of my life, right? But I started realizing, wait, when you get into health and wellness and you increase your chance to live to 100, if the average age is 70 and you do live to 100, the percentage of your life is the same if you're 30 and someone's 50, 35 and 50. You get it? Your life meter is the same percentage gone when you're 35 as someone who's 50, right? 50, 100, 35, 70. Does that make sense? Someone could be 15 years older than you and they go, oh, to be 15 years younger than you, you guys actually have the same amount of time left. And if you can move, you don't have arthritic pain, you can run, you can jump, you can bend over, you can laugh, you can smile, you can make love, you can fit your jeans when you were 25 or 30. What does that young person have on you? Nothing. It's a limiting belief. It's nothing. And that's what young people don't get. As I approach 40, I look at someone going 22 and it's like, we probably have the same lifespan if you're going to keep living like that. Oh, I'm only young once. No. I plan on being young for 70 years. How many feel that? What do you mean young once? What do you got? If I make health my hobby, when I turn 50 or 60, what do you think I'm going to do about being out of shape? What do you think I'm going to do about being stiff and arthritic and not being able to run or play with my kids? What do you think we're going to do? And where did I get the conditioning? Where did I get the discipline? Where did I get the mindset and the passion? Where did I learn to divorce Western thinking and Western lifestyle that makes you sick, broke-minded, and make you feel old? I did it all through the Shield program. I did it all through healing Crohn's colitis because I had something bad happen to me and I turned lemons into lemonade. Right? I completely learned to change my life and divorce all those things, those limiting beliefs, that lack of empowerment through Crohn's and colitis. And now it helps me blossom in every single way. There is not one way making health your hobby doesn't support everything you do. When you get that mindset, when you get that into your, not just your mind, your spirit. See, one of my goals here today is I'm going to continue to repeat myself in many ways. Why? Because the more I can repeat, the more I condition, because I'm trying to get the thought from your mind to your heart. There's a difference between knowing something and feeling something. How many times does someone say, or you say to someone, you know, you should really do this? And we all go, what? I know, but, oh, I know I should, but the but is an emotional problem. The I know means it's here, but it hasn't gotten here. You know, you really shouldn't eat gluten and pizza with IBD. I know, but it's my birthday. It's Friday. I went to a birthday party. You can do whatever you want, but it hasn't gotten into your soul yet. It hasn't gotten into your cells yet. Because you haven't really decided to emotionally divorce things that only hurt you. Are you going to have gluten again or pizza again? Yes, and that's okay. But maybe what you got to do is make sure that you're in a place that you do not need it, that those cravings no longer control your action. That means it's in the spirit. If you've got a craving to self-harm, it's not in the spirit yet. It's in the mind. You want to make health your hobby? You've got to get this in your heart. It's got to get down there. How do you get this into your mind, your heart, your being? Conditioning. There's not one thing you've ever done that you've gotten great at it that didn't require massive conditioning. Reading, right? Writing, sport, marriage, dating, right? Being in great shape, knowing natural medicine, knowing biohack, conditioning. Conditioning is a part of it. You have to be able to do things that you don't feel like doing. Write that down. You have to be able to do things even when it's uncomfortable. You have to be willing to take action even when you don't feel like it. Your feelings do not dictate your identity, and they do not dictate your actions. This is the road. I hope you're writing it down. This is the road. How I feel does not dictate my identity. I feel sad, but I am not a sad person. I feel sick today, but I am not a sick person. How do you think all of this was built? Do you think I felt healthy every day for the last 10 years? No. Because my feelings don't dictate my identity. And they don't dictate my action. Okay? Now, I'm not telling us to be robots. I'm not telling us to just, numb, do it anyways. I don't believe that. Listen to your feelings, learn from your feelings, meditate in your feelings, and then use your intuition to make a balanced decision. Right? If I don't feel like eating that same old thing, I may go for a walk and meditate and find a reason to smile and laugh, and then add a little ketchup on it. Right? I found a little middle ground. A little ranch. Right? You got to listen to your heart. You got to listen to your mind, and you got to find an intuitive balance on how you decide, how you listen to what's going on, what you know you should do, and what you're feeling. But you have to have that line in your sand. My feelings do not dictate. Write this down. Growth is always 100% uncomfortable. There is nothing comfortable about growth. The journey to make health your hobby, if it's not your hobby right now and you dread eating healthy, you dread, considering a fast, you dread considering making a shake, you dread going down and taking a few supplements, you dread getting in a sauna, you dread doing some meditation, earthing outside with your feet in the ground, you need to continue to rebuild how that makes sense to you. You got to get creative, like a hobby. There are many ways to run. There are many ways to sport. Why do you think there's so many sports? Because sport's a way to move and be connected with others and do, but we have 15 sports because it's 15 flavors of the same kind of thing, body movement and experience and hobby. So what's going to be your way of health? Build it your way. That field is yours. That's why I built this whole framework. Make it yours. You don't have to do the Dane diet. You don't got to do the Dane IBD program. You can use this framework to build your answer. Stop trying to find the answer. It's the same thing as picking your hobbies. It's the same thing as picking a significant other. Like you want love in your life. You've got to create how that love shows itself and how it balances in your life. You want health in your life. How are you going to create that? No one's going to walk around and tell you who you're going to marry. Not, well, most of the time, right? You see what I'm saying? You've got to figure that out. You've got to figure out how to date. You've got to figure out how to exercise. You've got to figure out how to get outside and how to be active and what makes you happy doing it. You've got to figure out your recipe of health as a hobby. So growth is always uncomfortable, but make it yours. How you feel does not create your identity. So there's a difference. You've got to get what you know into your heart. You've got to condition. You've got to repeat. You've got to enroll others. How much easier is it to go on a run, guys, if I'm running with one of my friends? How much easier is it to go to the gym if I'm going to the gym with one of my friends? How much easier is it to eat clean if the whole family is eating the same food? There was a member we had a few years ago, and she was Puerto Rican, and she had never eaten clean. She had eaten greasy food, seed oil, gluten her entire life. That's how her family ate. And she had severe ulcerative colitis, and she got a terrible colonoscopy, and she came in with a lot of fear, a lot of worry. She was ready to change her life, though, absolutely ready. And it was like about 3 or 4 weeks in, and she was getting really great results. But she was so consistent. She was so on it. She was journaling. She was doing her plan, everything. And I said, what's one thing that's allowed you to be so successful from no experience with natural medicine to massive results really quickly and completely changing your life? She said, my husband loves the way we're eating. She said, well, my husband tended to get bloating and gas and just a little bit of discomfort. And when I started cooking these foods, I cooked for my husband, and he started really enjoying this food. He kept asking me to make it this way again because his stomach was feeling better, and he was feeling less bloated, and he was having better bowel movements himself. So I was like, wait a minute. Your husband doesn't have IBD, doesn't even have IBS, started feeling better implementing the food you were eating, right? We built for you your custom nutrition plan. He started requesting it, and that made it so much easier for you to eat this way. Yep. Now we both eat this way. We both feel better. Does that happen to you guys before? When we enroll our loved ones, when we enroll a community in this lifestyle, it gets way easier. See, 10, 15 years ago, the kind of people I hung out with, no one really cared about natural medicine. No one was into it. But over the years, as I changed myself, I started making new friendships or developing more friendships, or those friendships transformed, all three were true, into that of health, into that of wellness, into they know where I'm going to be. I come to the gym with me. Come eat with me. Yes, there's liver in that beef. And we laugh about it, right? Come live like me. We're not going, like, come to this restaurant with me. Let's not go to that restaurant. I'm enrolling my loved ones. I'm enrolling my friends, and I'm making new friends. Because when I'm at that gym living that way, when I'm at that restaurant, when I'm living that way, I tend to be connected with who? People who are on the same road. When you go to places that are around health and wellness, you tend to meet people who share the same values, and new friendships can blossom. And that's what it is. It's the same thing in the church, right? You want more Christian friends? Go to the church. So it's a decision. And as you start to get what the Spirit needs, you ever realize this? It was about 5 or 6 years ago, more than that. It was about 8 years ago that I started realizing that although we are all different in personality, we are different in look, we are different in experience, our souls are very similar. Is there any soul in the world you can think about that doesn't need love? Is there any soul that doesn't need community? Is there any soul that doesn't need to feel of value to others? Is there any soul who doesn't need to feel understood by others? That the way I think makes sense. My politics, my culture, the way I, move. That's what a friend is, an agreement. Every soul needs the same spiritual energies. Every soul. It kind of blew my mind when I was like, when I saw it, I was at like a meditation thing in New York, right in Brooklyn, and there was this girl, and she was just crying her eyes out, and she was African American. She had dyed blonde hair, and she was like 6'1", and you could tell she was a little different than I think. That was my perception. She was a little different, not bad way, just different. And when she was crying, I felt her pain. And although me and her had walked completely different lives, I'm male, she's female, she's grew up here, I grew up there, she's that skin color, I'm this color. We've had different lives. We've had different perception of life, right? You ever think like we all live a different life? Like every woman will never really understand what it's like to walk in a man's shoe and man's shoe, right? We all walk in different worlds together. But I could feel that's like the beauty. It was like the most divine feeling I had. It was like, but I feel her and I feel her soul, and her soul's very much the same as mine. It almost makes me like tear up thinking about it. Like our souls are almost the exact same, all of it. There is no color or change or anything. So when I make health my hobby, how do I get the spiritual nourishment? How do we, as a collective human race, get the spiritual nourishment to take care of ourselves? So much of what society teaches us is to get spiritual nourishment from hurting ourselves. Like, watch any movie. Like, for guys to be in the strong guy group, you might have to fight someone you don't want to fight just to protect your friends. It's not good for you. It's not good. You've got to defend your girlfriend. You got to defend your girlfriend whom you might not actually not agree with because she's your friend and you're loyal. And you're loyal because that's what it takes to get the spiritual nourishment to belong. Every human needs to belong, or we don't feel like there's a reason to live anymore. When you make health your hobby, the biggest thing you have to do, I hope you're hearing me on this. This is such a hard point to get. When you make health a passion and hobby for your life, not just why you're here, not just why you're logging into the show program and coming live, you have got to attach spiritual nourishment to that journey or you're going to fail. It's not going to work. And you're going to keep trying to talk yourself into it and maybe look at another book and you start getting angry at yourself for quitting or letting go. Why is it a kid addicted to a video game will put in 10, 20 hours a week? Guaranteed. Because it's part of his spiritual nourishment. He's belonging with the other kids there. He's good at it or she's good at it. They're excited about what they're creating. I'm going to build something in Minecraft. I'm going to be the top of the list. I'm going to win. I've got a journey to go in this game. They've created something to grow in. Take the things that drive addiction to something like a video game in this metaphor. I was very addicted to video games when I was 16. Right? I like StarCraft, Counter-Strike, this game called El Diablo. I was like, what? El Diablo? What is that? Right? So my point is like, take the same thing. What are you going to get out of your health? What is your next level? What are you building? People are spending all this money on the video games. Where are you investing your time, energy, and money into this? What are you going to get out of it? And that's why I like to talk about things that can even be vain. I'll see women. I look at women. They're spending a fortune on makeup and hair extensions and all this stuff. And I'm like, put all that money towards skin health and white eyes and good energy and thick, strong hair. I don't even hardly wash my hair. I know it sounds weird. I just don't put anything in it. I don't even wash my face. I never wash my face. I get in the sauna, I sweat, and I exfoliate with the towel, 100% cotton towel. That's what I do. Does that make sense? Man, I see women, they buy all these heels and these tight jeans. I'm like, just learn to eat. If you're eating McDonald's and a burrito and spending $1 zillion to look good, I just don't understand it. It doesn't, 1 + 1 = 6. I just don't understand it. And it's because it's the addiction and the emotions and how we feel. And also food is, processed food is so cheap. I understand. So when we get to that passion, those things, and now we can start looking at it. Now, when you have that in your mind, we start attacking it. When you make health your hobby, you've got to hack food. You've got to figure out a way to make good food delicious. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making is that they're eating alone. They have no one else who wants to eat this way. And what they're eating doesn't really even taste that good. Stop eating crappy tasting health food. Okay? Stop eating crappy tasting health food. What's one of the healthiest things you can get? Go get a rotisserie chicken. That's why when I go online, I see all these people knocking the rotisserie chicken. Yes, rotisserie chicken isn't perfectly healthy, even at health foods, especially in those plastic bags. But figure it out if it's convenient, it's cost effective, and it tastes good. When I first had a divorce, I grew up on cereal, Papa John's pizza, Subway sandwiches. My favorite Subway sandwich was white bread with pepperoni and provolone cheese and mayonnaise. I swear to God, that was my sandwich for like 3 years, 3 or 4 years. I had Life cereal or Cheerios or Lucky Charms every morning with A1 processed inflammatory cow milk, 2% cow milk. That was my breakfast for 10 years growing up. I had I went to public school most of my life. I had public school lunch. I had combos with fried chicken sandwich on a gluten bun, a side of combos, and what else I had? Like some ketchup hash brown thing. And I was bloated and I was exhausted. And then I'd go home and we'd have glutinous macaroni and cheese with processed skim milk in the cheese and hot dogs. Like, I grew up in the middle of Virginia. I was so addicted to processed standard American food. When I finally made sense of food and my passion, when it got from here to here, okay, it took me about 4 years from getting to what I know I should do because I'm sick to I'm passionate and I've changed my life and I've expressed now a lot of ways of how I made that shift. When I realized that my best life, because I loved the gym. So can you take the same passion? So last metaphor on that mindset. I loved the gym and I worked out like crazy because I wanted to look strong and big. I wanted to look my best, feel my best. I was into it. I was addicted to looking great as a guy, right? And that's how I got into the narcissism of modeling. Okay. So it was all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, I can look and feel my best by eating quality food. This is all trash. And everything that bodybuilding was telling me about my macros and good food was about getting rid of all this trash anyway. So I was halfway there just by taking this desire and moving it into what Crohn's and colitis was asking me to. And I realized that looking and feeling my best and healing Crohn's and colitis was almost one and the same. It was very, very similar. And I said, oh, now I'm acting out of desire, not fear. So that's that, right? So when I got that in my heart, right, I went from mind to heart. Once you get there, you're going to figure it out, but I had to make answers. So what I did is every morning I'd make eggs. It was easy. It was quick. I could do it. And then I would have like a smoothie shake. The elemental shake I teach you is emotionally very easy. I could make it here. I could make it there. I could go there. I could add all these things in it. It was quick. I didn't have to deal with a lot of dishes. A lot of meat. So I did well with meat. Okay. I didn't have gluten. I didn't have dairy. I was having problem with fiber because I was so sick. And then when I cooked, I would cook like 4 or 5 meals at once. And then I would just have those leftovers. Yes, I'd use a microwave, but I needed to because I needed to be consistent. Consistency is worth more than perfection. One of the biggest things we teach you. And then I found little snacks. Like for my sugar cravings, I would just get really good clean Manuka honey and I'd have a little honey. I'd have electrolytes, lemon juice, salt my water. I would have more fats when I ate to calm down my sugar craving. My snacking, I slowly, little things I did. I got rid of the glutinous cracker and I went to a corn chip. Not perfect, but it was consistent for a little bit. Then I went to an almond cracker. Still not perfect, but better than some of the corn I was eating. And then I kept moving until I didn't need snacks. So I found wins to be consistent. Okay. So even if you can only get 75 to 80% there with the food, do it. Get where you need to be. When your spirit calms down and you find balance for that for 4 to 6 months, remember you're trying to live for 60, 70 more years. 6 months of being at 70%, I still think is a great trade because what happens is your spirit gets more in balance. It gets easier. It's the same thing in the gym. When I started working on the gym, all I liked to do was arms and chest. That's all you could get. That's all you'd catch me working out. My arms and my chest. And I had to slowly get, as I got comfortable with it, then my spirit was able to handle adding in back, adding in legs, adding in core. Then all of a sudden, by the time I was 18 or 19, I was at 6 days a week. Every muscle group was getting hit hard working. But it didn't happen overnight. So I did it that slow. Some people could just go. Others of us take the 70%, try to be balanced at 70% for a little while, and then move forward. Okay. So, but when you're making your hobby, how can you attach it to your fitness? Is it a protein goal? Is it a macro goal? Is it about your flat stomach goal? Is it about also your skin health and how that looks? Is it about being able to help your hair continue to regrow if I'm losing some of it? Coming off prednisone or biologics. So that's where when it becomes your hobby, it's because it's giving you something else you want. See, for me, I made nutrition part of my health my hobby because I wanted more energy. I wanted more muscle. I wanted to get back to 185, 190 pounds. I wanted to be strong again. I wanted to have a six pack, have a good, clean, stomach. So I found ways to make it my hobby because exercise was my hobby. Does that make sense? So everything. Now, one of my other things is like energy. So when I made health my hobby and I wanted energy, I wanted to get rid of caffeine. I was using pre-workout for years. So how do I get back into the gym without pre-workout? Okay. So then it's like, okay, because health is my hobby, I'm looking at this and I'm learning. I'm now studying something I want. That's something I need. How do I get more energy without hurting my gut? Bad coffee, pre-workout stuff, all that crap. Well, I eventually started realizing the benefits of carnitine and D-ribose and adrenal support that really did wonders for me. If I ever needed a little caffeine, I went to cerebral grade green tea extract because I made health my hobby, because health was my number one priority. And I wanted certain ways to get things out of it that were also hobbies of mine, right? So that's a big thing. Okay. Next thing I really want to go over when you're making health your hobby that'll change your life. The number one investment I have made in my life. Okay. I've worked hard. I've worked 60, 70 hours a week. I've built this company up. We've done a lot. I have put my money, MONEY, my money into my healing home. The number one investment I've made in my life for making health my hobby and getting it more consistent has not been a nice car, has not been the most fancy clothes, has not been the most unbelievable vacations. It has been my house, my healing home. To make health your hobby, I think one of the best investments that you can make, that I've made personally, in my opinion, is turn your home into a healing home. Okay. Now I have an idea. I want to give you an idea, and I'm going to enroll you with this because, again, if I want to get something in my mind and my heart, I have to enroll others in. So I'm going to say it to all of you right now. I believe the future of homes is going to be getting a rating of the health of the home. Just like we get a USDA organic in our food, I think the same thing's going to happen to our homes. Has this been properly checked for mold? What is the total EMF going off in this house? What is the air quality around this house or in this home? Okay. What is the water line like? Have you what's the municipal water like? How hard is the water? How much calcium is in the water? Is this well water? Air, food, water, mold environment, EMF, RF, dirty electricity, all of that's going to be looked at, especially if you're buying a very healthy or a very expensive house. Like if you're even someone out there looking at $1 million house, $2 million, $5 million house, who's getting the training we're getting in their right mind is going to buy a $4 million moldy house? And there's no way of checking right now. I believe it's going to not only make our health better, make it better for our family to come visit us, reduce our fear and anger and worry and all of that to even be at our house. It's going to make it easier to sell, and it's going to make it easier to trade. One of the things, I'm building my healing home, right? I got rid of my carpets. I had carpets. They're gone, right? I found mold up there. It's gone. Got that redone. No, everyone told me there's no mold. Found it. Black mold. Lots of it. Okay? In-wall air cavity sampling. So it's like now I even feel my house is easier to trade. I'm building a future. You see how excited I am? I'm building a future where I'm looking for other people who might live in Italy, Hawaii, France, South Africa, Cape Town, who might want to do a home trade. I live in their home and they live in mine, who live this way and have built the healing home. I believe it's the future. See how excited? Now I'm going to start enrolling others. I'm going to find other people who want to live like that. And it makes me even want to invest in my house. I've got a hyperbaric. Where does my money go? I've got a hyperbaric oxygen chamber in my house. I've got an infrared sauna. I've got a hot tub that has reverse osmotic water poured into it to get rid of all the contaminants, and then has an ozone on it to reduce the need of chlorine. I still need a little chlorine. I haven't figured out how to get rid of total chlorine, but it's reduced chemicals in the hot tub. All right. I'm building out a home gym right now. Why? Because I run a health company. It's a complete tax write-off. And I'm going to be building and rebuilding our fitness part of the Shield program come end of 2025, 2026. I'm going to do the whole thing and show you guys in my gym. So I'm writing it off. Right? Chris is the Shield program. I'm in Cape Town, Dane. Let's do it. Chris wants to come to my house. All right, Chris. Right? Allie, this is genius. Sign me up. See how excited we all are about it? This is how you make health your hobby. Because when you find other people who are down, who are like, this is how we spend money. This is how we spend time. This is how we invest our energy. All of a sudden, you're like, dude, this is so cool. It's like you get the same high of like 5 guys who want to buy a boat together and go out to Catalina or Two Harbors Island or Santa Cruz Island and go fishing for white sea bass. Yeah, let's get the boat. Let's go out there. Let's dive. Let's get dinner on the table. Right? It's the same high for any hobby. It's like, I want to build a home that's like the best. And it's, oh, well, how beautiful is it? And how much did it cost? And it's like all of that doesn't even matter as much as, have you done the mold? Have you gotten rid of the carpet? Have you got rid of the MDF wood? Have you gotten the air quality up? Right? I got my Jasper right there. Let's go. I got an EMF consultant coming to my house on Wednesday. His name's Benny. If you guys didn't watch the EMF podcast I did with Brian Hoyer, he's building get this, he's building a company where they have EMF experts come to your house. It's like $1,200-$1,500, and they do a 3 or 4 hour swipe around the whole house on where EMF is and how to block it in your office, in your bedroom, in your living room. If there's 5G towers or networks, how to defend your house from it. And have a whole breakdown of what is the level of EMF in your house. Benny's coming Wednesday. I'm filming it for you guys. You see how excited I am about this, guys? You see? Make health your hobby. I'm building a healing home. It's the #1 investment. Get a house, get it cheaper. I would, if I buy a house, I buy a house that's a fixer-upper, and I'd make sure I had $100,000 to renovate it. And I'd renovate it because you're going to buy a house and you're going to probably need to gut some things anyways. Okay, and do some stuff anyways. I'd get a fixer-upper on a great lot. I'd look for land and location, away from a golf course, away from 5G if you can get it, away from a major highway, but close to where I can get places, and I like the area. And I would just start, every single year I put more money into my house. Last year was the HBOT. The year before that was the infrared sauna. And then we did the mold remediation, and now we're going to do the gym. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, our cars are paid off. I didn't go buy the most expensive car. I got a car that was good, cost effective, try to pay it off, get my bills low, and invest in my healing home. Because that's my hobby, because that's who I am. Because every single year that goes by, I continue to meet more and more people who might be worth $100 million or $1 billion. And the most exciting thing that they're missing is this. I'll go to a $20 million house and be like, have you tested this for mold? Like, heck, what is your EMF in this place? EMF causes leaky gut and anxiety and just hurts your ability to heal, and causes anxiety and sleep issues. And it causes cellular vibrations that cause inflammation and cellular dysfunction. Don't even know. $20 million house, sitting right next to a golf course, with all those chemicals being sprayed on that golf course, just going right into their house. Where you have air? You have quality air filters in this house? Have you checked your HVAC? You get it? So guys, that's how we do it. Hope this helps. If you need help in the Shield program, right here is a free 1-hour IBD session. You can click it. You can schedule a call. Happy healing, guys. See you next time.